Hello, this is Jess. This is chat session number 59, December 29th, 2017. We go right into the tidbits of history. 1890. In the final chapter of America's long Indian wars, the U.S. Cavalry kills 146 Sioux at Wounded Knee on the Pine Ridge Reservation in South Dakota. Apparently it was an unavoidable incident, which many historians believe was an exact revenge for Little Bighorn in 1876 when the cavalry was defeated by the Indians. So they say it's the final war between the Indians and the cavalry, but then we've had numerous uprisings. We had, matter of fact, they had a small uprising in 1973. I think that was the last one of any significance. But it was a long, drawn out time when we took the Indians from their lands and put them on reservations where to this day they're still in a lot of those. And now they have casinos and everything else on them, so it's they get privilege, I guess, for how we treated them back in the day. All right, so we're going to go right on to 1845. On this day, 6 months after the Congress of the Republic of Texas accepts U.S. annexation of the territory, Texas is admitted into the U.S. as the 28th state. It was the territory was owned by Mexico for a long time. They started allowing settlers to come in from all the eastern areas that had settlers. And when they started coming over here, then there was a lot of white people there, and then the Mexicans started getting angry and started fighting them. And it turned into a rebellion. The white people rebelled against the Mexicans. And there was major defeat going on. Santa Anna was really taking it to the white settlers and stuff. And then there was one battle where Sam Houston, they surprised one of the major brigades or whatever of the Mexican army, and they defeated and took care of Santa Anna at that time, and that was the end of it. And then the war just sort of went away. Texas at that time was a slave state, and so it took the newly formed states, the United States, a long time to talk with Texas about it because they were a slave state. They didn't want to admit them into the Union. And then on this day in 1845, it was ratified after a big debate on the subject for 6 months worth of debate and stuff. And then they finally came into the Union. And that's why to this day Texas can fly their flag the same height as the United States flag, because they were a republic before they were brought into the Union. We're the only state that was a republic, and therefore equal as far as how it's viewed. When you run flags up at the pole, the Texas flag and the American flag can be the same height. All right. Well, that's all the history today. Tidbits of history from 1845 and 1890. It's December 29th, 2017. We're a couple of years away from... We're a couple of years away from 2018.
Years, you mean days?
And in 2 years, in 2 days, it'll be New Year's Eve, which today being Friday. Saturday, Sunday's New Year's Eve, Monday's New Year's Day. So I guess we're getting excited about that. Everybody seems to be getting ready for 2018. 2017, a lot of stuff. I'll reflect more on that on a future chat session as we get closer to the year. But there just has to be some kind of slowdown on the hatred that's coming from different factions of the United States concerning other people. The poor people are warring against the rich people are warring against the poor people. There should be a middle ground where we can get fairness enacted instead of one-sided legislation. Because let's face it, the people that are in the Congress and the Senate and the House, they decide legislation that affects every one of us. And whether or not we want to be political or whether or not we care what they do, the ultimate end is that somehow we will be affected. Every individual will be affected by it. So we should make one of the goals of 2018 awareness of what's going on, so that we can have a intelligent dialogue about the situations. But I do think that all the platform that Trump ran on, drain the swamp and all that stuff that he promised everybody, it's gotten worse since he got there. All these people that he's putting in these positions that don't have a clue about what they're doing in these positions, all they have is money, and that's why they're in the positions they got. They're tacky. They think they're entitled to your tax money so that they can go and take private chartered planes with their family on vacation that we pay for with our tax dollars. I think all that stuff needs to cease. I think that we need to make a stand as Americans and demand and then expect and then achieve all this frivolous spending for their luxury, for their happiness of having and doing stuff on our money, on our tax dollars. I work hard for my money. I'm sure that everybody else does too, or at least they feel like they do. But I also think that in the middle of all that, there has to be some kind of compassion for the people that don't have anything, who can't work, who need assistance. I think that there should be some kind of programs that are essential for that. I don't think we should turn our backs on the poverty-stricken or the ill-stricken people who can't afford the better things in life when it comes to basic necessities like food, water, that kind of stuff. I think that I think America overall in general is a compassionate nation, and I think we do a lot for people who are in need, and I think we should be commended for that. But I also think that there's a lot of neglect and a lot of abuse for those people that are in those situations, and I think that should be halted and dealt with in a fair manner. But anyway, okay, just sort of threw a couple topics out there. It's late. Got a few minutes to get this chat session in before the day ends. It's about 11:50 p.m. So be truthful, be happy. Let's look out for each other, okay? And my football picks will be out in the morning. Seattle's going to win, make the playoffs like usual. Go Seattle.